Welcome to another episode of the Leading Life Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Zook, and this is where we say the quiet parts out loud about being better leaders. This is for people who want to lead better with clarity, humility, and purpose. So here we go. Right now, on today's episode, we are going to say the quiet parts out loud about our leaders. You are listening to the Leading Life Podcast. I'm glad you're here. This is where we talk about what it takes to grow, lead, and live with purpose. I'm your host, Andy Zook, and each episode here is designed to give you simple, real-world tools to help you show up as your best self in work and in life. You know, I started this podcast because I care deeply about the people who work for us and the leaders responsible for them. And everything I share comes from over 35 years of leading, coaching, mentoring, and motivating teams. Bottom line, I'm here to help you become an even stronger leader. And if you're not in a leadership position at work, but you still want to know what to expect from your leaders, then you're still in the right place. All right, let's build great leadership together. Let's hear the quiet voices loudly today. I want to share what complaints I hear from employees over and over again that you may not be aware of. And I want you to consider most leadership breakdowns don't happen in these big moments. They happen in the small ones that we may dismiss. All right, let's get into it. Number one, you don't communicate or answer back when an employee took the time to text you with a question or call you with something. Are you seriously too busy to respond to your people? Remember that when you leave an employee on read or you don't respond, it is perceived as negative and not neutral. Please think about that. It is perceived as negative, not neutral. A leader's speed of response to subordinates is a crucial nonverbal cue, and it significantly impacts employee morale, trust, productivity, and overall team performance. The prevailing wisdom suggests that responsiveness is truly important. So when an employee feels ignored or devalued by a leader they depend on, their brain regions associated with physical pain and fear become highly active. Text messages are generally perceived as a form of instant communication with a much faster expected response time than email. Ultimately, responsive management is a key component in fostering a positive and productive work environment. You want your employees to feel heard and supported. All right, so the key to fixing this is simple. Acknowledge immediately. That's it. If a full answer isn't possible right away, just a quick acknowledgement, a simple got it, or an emoji can be a sufficient quick reply to let an employee know their message was received. And failure to acknowledge can signal disinterest and also a lack of respect. So remember, urgency is pretty much implied. Employees often use text messages when they need a quick answer, a last-minute confirmation, or a meeting status update. A delayed response in this format can quickly create a workflow bottleneck or a missed opportunity for timely action. All right, number two, follow up and follow through. Yes, as simple as that. When you are having conversations with your teams, make notes and have a system of follow-up. I see things falling to the wayside all the time. First thing that you're doing by ignoring follow-through is you're sending a message that their concerns don't really matter. Sorry, but it's true. Lack of follow-up is clearly saying the issue isn't important to you and they aren't important to the business. A great example of this is a friend of mine runs a business for another company. And when they renovated his location, they finished up in a rush, forgetting to replace a door to the storage area. So he had written multiple emails, texts, and phone calls about this door being replaced for over a year. The company had even ordered a new door. So they spent the money on it, but it still sits collecting dust in another storage room. Nobody ever followed up. And it leaves his storage area open to the business and looks horrible. And worst of all, nobody cared to ever fix it. So if you want to run your business into the ground, then let things become flavor of the week or let it go. The psychology behind follow-up is simple. A lack of follow-up can stem from a leader's subconscious belief that their subordinates' time or issues are less valuable than their own. And this can be linked to narcissism or a self-serving bias, where the leader prioritizes their own interests and success over the well-being and development of their teams. So when employees feel unimportant and invisible due to a lack of response, it erodes trust and engagement. Ultimately here, guys, a leader's failure to follow up creates a perception amongst employees that they're not seen, heard, or valued. And that totally dismantles motivation and can increase turnover in your business. The fix is simple. Document things. Have a daily system that you can touch base on open issues. Maybe implement a commitment calendar, which is dedicating specific reoccurring time blocks in a calendar format for follow-up. It might include like 15 minutes every morning to review daily tasks, and then a 30-minute block on Fridays to plan the next week's follow-ups. Create checklists for routine follow-up points to ensure consistency. This can be simple as a paper-based list in a notebook or a digital checklist they can keep in their laptop. Follow the say-do principle. And all that is stating what you will do and when, and then ensure your actions match your words. This builds immense trust and credibility with your team. Make sure we model the behavior. Track your own goals and commitments with the same system you use for them. When employees see their leader living within the accountability system, it reinforces its importance. All right, let's talk about number 3. Stop making things overly complicated. Yeah, I see this one a lot. I've talked about it before. It kills me. We already know what our goals are. We know the product we are delivering, and we know what goes into the manufacturing of said product. So why are we talking about all this other stuff? And honestly, here's my theory behind it. People get caught up in self-importance and looking like the smartest person in the room. Look what I created. Often leaders will wear this list of annual goals as a badge of honor, mistakenly thinking it reflects a high level of ambition or a comprehensive approach to growth. In reality, it's the opposite. A large number of goals often indicates an inability to make tough choices about where they're allocating all their resources. What's happening here is businesses will create too many goals, they won't have strategic focus, and they have this grand desire to appear ambitious. The tendency to deem everything important results in organizational paralysis, and that's an inability to really use all the resources effectively. And this is also the key. Sometimes an excessive number of goals are assigned in an attempt to motivate employees, but when these agendas compete for limited resources like time and attention, your performance is going to decrease. That results in overwhelm. And that can be demotivating. It can lead to decreased morale and unhealthy internal competition. But the fix is simple. Prioritize based on impact and effort. Use the Pareto principle, which is an 80-20 rule. Identify the 20% of goals that will drive 80% of your business outcomes. It's that simple. When everything is important, nothing is executable. I know I told you that story before, but we had this new boss show up once, and we already had like 1 million goals. And he brings in 3 extra forms to fill out on top of the ones we already have. And it was stuff that he created, not company expectation at all. We already had, like I said, 5 forms a day. And it was funny because we were all looking at him like, what's the point of this? We already do it. But it was just his own vanity project that made our jobs more difficult. It's like I saw somebody write on Twitter the other day, sorry I didn't have time to fill out the project tracker because I was busy doing the actual project. Don't make things overcomplicated. Keep your goals simple, and trust me, your people are thinking this. Don't kid yourself. When you keep adding more and more and more, the real core of the job of what we do every day becomes a little less important. All right, number 4, don't complain about your workload. This is something else I see and hear a lot. Let me ask you, was this position that you're in thrusted upon you? If it was, that's different. But if you step forward for this position you're in or applied for it, then just jump in and do the work. But don't show this to your people if you're stressed. They don't care. They know you signed up for the job. Jump in and do the heavy lifting like you're supposed to. I get it that the pressure sometimes can get daunting. The higher the position, the higher the demands. Publicly complaining about workload can be seen as unprofessional. Again, you took the leadership position. So if you go around making it look like it's so much work, then so will your people in the positions they're in. You know, if you say things like, oh man, I'm just so swamped with so much, you have no idea how much is on my plate. I can't even get through all these emails. Things like that just don't sound good. It sounds like you've lost control. Quite honestly, it sounds like you have an inability to manage stress, and more than 50% of employees view this as either harmful or irrelevant to the organization. Also, seeing a stressed out leader can just corrode talent pipelines. Only 55% of employees with high stress leaders want to advance to senior roles. So stop making it look so hard. I remember we had a manager with all this wrong energy, right? He looked angry all the time. He was always in the weeds. He was always scowling, always stressed out about everything. And I'm like, how did this guy get the position? Why is he even in it? I know leadership can feel heavy. Pressure is real, but you signed up for it. Pressure is part of the contract, and how you react to it says everything. All right, number 5. Seriously, can we chill on the ego? The very best leaders I know demonstrate total humility at all times. Humility is a key characteristic of high effective, enduring leaders. And this idea is perhaps most famously explored in Jim Collins' book, Good to Great. And that's where he introduces a concept called level 5 leadership. So in that theory, Collins found that companies that made the leap from good to great had leaders who displayed a paradoxical blend of two traits. These leaders that led teams to greater results were self-effacing, modest, and they attributed their success to factors other than their own genius. They didn't seek the spotlight, and they were more concerned with long-term success of the company than their own personal legacy. Simultaneously, they possessed a fierce, unwavering resolve to do whatever is necessary to make the company great. According to this, in Collins' theory, a leader's humility acts as the foundation for their greatness, enabling behaviors like focusing on building a strong, lasting company culture than chasing personal accolades. They remain open to feedback, they admit their mistakes, and they surround themselves with talented people who can challenge their ideas instead of just yes men. They channel their ambition into the institution rather than themselves, which ensures a strong succession plan and making difficult decisions that serve the company's mission. And here's a saying that I like to think about all the time that helps keep me grounded. And I know I've said this before on the podcast. There is somebody out there doing way more than I am with much less than I have. All right, so this is your leadership edge for this episode. Don't forget why you started. You wanted to make a difference for people in the business at hand. Your people are human, you're human, so be human. If you're doing one or more of these things that we talked about, it's okay. We all have at some point. No one is immune from it. But the whole point of this episode is to work on fixing it. And this is your call to arms for the episode. I want to leave you with 5 reflections this week. Number 1, do you respond with urgency to your team's messages? Number 3, what is one system or procedure at work that you could make simpler for your people? Number 4, think about your workload. What can you take off your plate? What can you delegate? Think about how you describe your work to others in the company. Do you describe it with passion or excitement, or is it just a hassle? And number 5, reflect back on how you carry yourself as a leader. Are you decisive without being domineering? Do you listen intently and ask great questions? It's important to be confident without being worried about your ego. All right, and I want to leave you with this final thought. Lead with a quiet confidence by empowering your team, and remember, it's not about you feeling like the hero, it's about making them feel like they can be the hero. All right, so that's my episode. I hope this impacted you for the better. Please, if you can, leave me a rating or review on whatever platform you hear me on, and please hit subscribe so you won't miss another episode of the Leading Life Podcast. If this episode inspired you, share it with another leader who needs to hear it. And remember, the world gets better when us leaders get better. All right, until next time, I want you to lead with purpose, live with intention, and keep becoming who you were meant to be. But most importantly, go out and be the hero of somebody's story today. Because great leadership is being the hero for your people. Thanks for listening. Until the next episode, talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.